All right, everyone. This is a Honeywell gas control valve for a water heater, and we're going to walk you through the steps of diagnosing this valve. This valve is blinking blue, but it's actually not working. It's not showing a fault. This is the pilot, and that's the main burner. And when I run air through the pilot side, it's actually not releasing any gas. I will demonstrate that for you in 1 second. Ready? And it stops. So it goes and then it stops. It goes for about 10 seconds. Now, if I push this button, okay, it will run gas. Okay, so what does this mean for you? Right now I'm bench testing this valve. So the symptoms that you would have on this is that you would have it all hooked up. You'd be pushing this button, holding it, 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 and it'll be flashing blue. And then you would let go. It would run for a second and then turn off. Those are going to be your symptoms. And then you're going to relight it. You're going to hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. It's going to flash blue. It's going to keep flashing blue, keep flashing blue. You're going to let go, and it's going to go out. The only reason why this is still running is because I'm simulating the voltage at 0.6 volts or 600 millivolts to get it running to see what the problem is. But if this was installed, like I said, you're going to hold the pilot button down, hit the zapper, get a pilot flame, and it's going to light up blue. You're going to let go, and it's going to go out. So let's walk through a few steps that I do to troubleshoot this valve. All right, step one is going to be removing this cover. Okay, the cover is loose, and we're going to pull straight up on the cover. Okay. If you twist or rotate, you're going to damage the control board on these prongs. Okay, now this is the valve body. I sell these valve bodies if they go bad, and they do go bad from time to time. So the first thing that you want to do is push on this brass piece right here, and that is the pilot that allows you to override. That's this button right here. So when you push on this, it's actually pushing there. And if you're doing this, I always recommend having it uninstalled, or at least the gas off, or whatever it may be. But the first thing you want to do is you want to blow through here, okay, while holding this, and you should feel air coming out from the pilot section. You're initially going to hear a whoosh of air, followed by the gas valve regulating down and controlling the flame. Sometimes this goes bad, so when you're trying to light it, you're not getting any gas in. So that's the first thing you want to do, is make sure you're getting gas in. I always say though, if you're able to hold a pilot flame manually on the heater, like you hold it and you get a flame, and you hold it continuously and you get a flame, this section of the valve is okay. So we want to bring our attention to these prongs. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is check for ohms. The pin to the left where my red probe is the pilot side, and that's the ground. And we should have between 11 and 12 ohms. Okay, which we do. Followed by 11 and 12 ohms here. That's good. And then between these two, we should have the sum total of both, which is usually around 20. I don't know why I'm not on it all the way. Doing this one-handed. Up a little bit. Good. Ooh. good. We should have around at least above 20. It should be the sum total. So 23, that looks good. So it passes the ohms test. The next thing we want to do is supply voltage. I use 500 millivolts to make sure that these valves actually move. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so this post right here is the ground post, and these would be considered the negative. However, the control board will actually reverse the polarity to get these to open. So a lot of people have to say, okay, this is the ground post and that's going to be positive here, but actually in order to get this to open, you need to reverse the polarity. But we could test it this way. So I'm using simulated voltage, like what the control board uses, so I don't do any damage to the valve. And we should hear it click. If we don't hear it click, then we know the valve is actually not moving. Oop. So that valve is actually good. And we'll come ahead and come over here, do the same thing. You hear it clicking? The valve's good. So this tells me up front that this valve is good. There's nothing wrong with this valve body. So it's flashing blue, which means that the temperature sensor is obviously good. We don't need to test the temperature sensor, but we will just to make sure. But I can tell you that this control board is faulty. So we're going to go ahead and replace the control board, and we will have obviously the blue light, but then we'll have this valve actually working to run air through. So I'm going to show you before and after. Now you're probably asking, why is this not having an error code? And it's simply because the control board measures the ohms off of these two posts together. So if this valve was to be bad, okay, the ohms would have to be off on one of these valves for it to flag. So in this case, the ohms are fine. The control board's defective. So that's what we have to go ahead and replace. Alright, just a quick recap on this gas valve. We were able to hold the pilot down to get the indicator light to come on. When we would let go, the gas valve would turn off and then power down. That was a symptom of this gas valve. The troubleshooting steps that we did was we made sure that we had gas coming in. We were able to press this button and verify gas was coming out the pilot hole. I showed you how to do that. And then we noticed, again, as soon as we let go, it would go out. We tested, we moved the cover straight back. We tested for ohms. We had about 11 ohms on the pilot side, between the two prongs. And we had 11 ohms on the burner side. And we had a combined ohms of about 23. So that's a good valve. We also tested mechanical operation using simulated voltage from the ground to the positive on the pilot side, and then the ground to the burner side, and we were able to hear the valve click and actuate. So that told us that the board was faulty. So we go ahead and we're going to do our simulated voltage again. Give me a second, get that set up. And I want you to pay attention. You're going to hear initial click. We may have missed it, but the initial click, you should hear two clicks at all times. The first click will be the valve or the control board opening up the pilot valve. So let's verify that our pilot is working. So we're going to listen. So that's good. We actually have continuous air coming through, where before, when we were running air through the gas valve, it would, as soon as we let go, it would run for like 5 seconds and then go out. So let's go ahead and turn this valve to hot and see and listen for a second click to make sure that the main burner is going to open up. And we heard it. We heard the main burner, and we're over on hot. Let's verify that we have air coming through. You can hear a big difference between the pilot side and the burner side. It's much louder. Watch, we're going to come back to pilot now. All right, I'm going to switch it to hot. You heard that little click? That little click is the valve opening up on the burner side. Let's listen. All right, guys, that's how to diagnose a faulty control board. There's many different symptoms of a faulty control board that I want you guys to be aware of. This is just one presentation. Again, if this was on the hot water heater, what you would have is you would hold the pilot down, press, click, 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 click. You'll get the burner to light, or the pilot flame to light. And then as soon as you would let go, it would go out within about 5 seconds, followed by like maybe a low thermopile code, or like a code 2 is low voltage, and then it would go off. So if you have this issue, you can contact me on eBay, and I can help you diagnose your problem and get you the control board that you need for your gas valve. All the Honeywells, they have a few different control boards. I have a bunch of them in stock. So just reach out to me and I can help you troubleshoot your problems.